this real quick. David Bakhtiari expected to get released. We've been talking about this, over a year now, since before Aaron Rodgers was even traded here. The discussion was, is Bakhtiari going to come with him now? Is it going to happen in season? Is it going to happen after the season? The $40 million cap hit that's on the way for Bakhtiari, likely not going to happen. Now, this was from, was this Connor Hughes? I don't remember this one was Connor Hughes or The Athletic or whoever wrote it up. Maybe the Jets would fork over potentially a late round pick to reunite Bakhtiari with his golf cart buddy, Aaron Rodgers. If you haven't seen that video, it's a great video, by the way, of Aaron Rodgers and Bakhtiari driving around in the golf cart that Bakhtiari gifted to Aaron Rodgers. And the license plate says 𝐿69. 69 is Bakhtiari's number. And I think it's everything I want in my 12-year-old middle school mentality brain that I have right now, to have this guy on our team. And I want him to be healthy, and I want to believe in the worst way that it's going to work out. But for me, Bakhtiari, if he comes in here, it has to be incentive laden. It has to be some type of deal that's like, dude, you're getting the vet minimum, and every game you play, we're going to give you X amount of dollars. Whatever you deem his top value to be, let it get up to that if he plays an entire season. I have no problem with that type of contract whatsoever with him. As far as his injuries, Buffalo Jet Fan had a really good tweet that I pulled up the other day. So he tore his ACL in December of 2020. In November of 2021, 2 weeks after being activated off the PUP list, Bakhtiari had arthroscopic knee surgery due to fluid buildup in his surgically repaired knee. January 2022, Bakhtiari returns for the last game of the season in an effort to make the Packers playoff push. He lasted only 27 snaps and was inactive for the Packers' lone playoff game. In September through November of 2022, Bakhtiari starts 11 games for the Packers, still playing at an elite level, 0 sacks given up, 0 quarterback hits allowed, 88.5 Pro Football Focus passing grade. In December of 2022, Bakhtiari gets emergency appendectomy, ending his 2022 season. So let's be clear, he has not had knee issues to that point since January of 2022. But then this year, September of 2023, he plays in one game before needing another arthroscopic surgery on the same knee, ending his season. And from what he said, his surgery that he had initially, there was some condition as far as like the meniscus or the cartilage or something along those lines that may have to be addressed in the future. He winds up being symptomatic for it, and it winds up being the reason why he keeps getting all this fluid on his knee. He's saying like 4 ounces of fluid drained out of his knee, which is just an insane amount of liquid. But he says it should fix all the problems. So my question to you guys, Matt, I'll go to you first. Bakhtiari, you want him? You don't want him? What are you thinking?
5th time's the charm, baby. And he's fine. Absolutely. Sure, why not? Yeah, the Jets have great injury luck with often injured offensive linemen. Sign me the hell up for that. I can't wait until they sign him, and then week 5, he hurts his knee for the 75th millionth time on the MetLife turf that he complained about. He sat out a game this year because he didn't want to play on the turf in Atlanta. I don't know why we sign up for wanting to do these things to ourselves. We deal with the injured offensive line the last 2 years. Biggest reason why they missed the playoffs the last 2 years. And then just go, I'm going to sign the guy who's played 1, 12, 1, and 11 games in the last 4 years. I hope to hell he stays healthy for his sake, right? It must suck getting 5 knee injuries, but why take the risk on David Bakhtiari? The Jets are not a team that could afford to take a risk on a guy who is injury. Just because he's good when he's on the field, great. If he's never on the field, that is no good to me. I want no part of David Bakhtiari.
So, side note on that, what Matt's referring to with the Atlanta game and Bakhtiari sitting out, he was inactive for that game. His brother tweeted out a picture. I don't know if I have it here. Let me see if I had it pulled up. Yeah, his brother posted this, which is the meme of, as you go along the x-axis and you fuck around, you get more and more find out. So this is implying like, hey, did Bakhtiari bail on the Atlanta game because it was indoor on turf? And he's come out and said no, and same with LaFleur. But you can, if you want to read between the lines, he didn't play another game the rest of the season. So I feel like he was probably injured. I don't think he just skipped the entire season, although Packers fans might feel a little differently. Maybe they're like, he's just stole our money and ran. The dude signed a contract in 2020, basically played in 20 games since then. Yeah, I don't know. For me, when I look at Bakhtiari, and I'll get to, sorry, Agreement, I'll throw this to you real quick.
No, you're good.
But I for me, when I think of Bakhtiari, I don't think he's passing a physical yet. So like the Jets are going to solve their offensive line any way they're going to solve it. And then eventually when he can pass a physical, this might be after the draft. Like I'm totally on board with bringing Bakhtiari on. You cannot tell me that Bakhtiari, with whatever games he could provide to you, is not better than the whatever 53rd person on our roster. And if it's an incentive laden deal, like what did friggin' Carl Lawson cost us? Carl Lawson's hit us for like $6 million this year. And he's not even on our team. Like, I don't know. I would be on Bakhtiari is the exact type of gamble I would take for this team on an incentive laden deal, assuming you're signing him after you've already done your homework and done everything earlier in free agency. Green Bean, your thoughts on Bakhtiari?
Here's the only silver lining, okay, with Bakhtiari. The word on the street, like I hang out on the streets. I want you to know that. So I'm out there on the streets, and the word is that the first surgery that he had wasn't the right surgery. It didn't do the thing. So when he got injured, it was almost expected this past year. And the new surgery that he got was the right surgery. It's going to be good. So that's just the word on the street. I don't know. I'm with Matt. Like, okay, bring on more injured dudes. We're the team that can handle it, right? You know, we know that. We take the perpetually healthy, whether it's Dwayne Brown or Chuck Clark, never been injured, come here for 18 minutes and they're out. That's the way it goes here. So why not flip it and bring on dudes who've never not been injured? Fuck it. You know what I mean? But the thing is that if that's true, if like the first surgery that he had, and by first I mean 2 years ago, for the knee, I believe it was,
2020.
You know, there were issues that it wasn't the right surgery and it was like doomed. And then so when this doctor went in, he said, "Oh my God, there's all kinds of loose goosey shit in here," and they fixed it and they did it the right way. So hey, maybe they did it right, and whoever gets them is getting a gem. So if we can get him, just like you said, Ryan, on some sort of incentive-laden deal, he gets to kind of reunite with Aaron Rodgers. They can drive to every game in a golf cart. You know what I mean? Smoking cigars or whatever they do. And then, you have him, competing, and he's depth behind Joe Alt. You know, we're not getting Joe Alt, but let's just say for a name, he's behind him. And if anything happens, we have Bakhtiari coming in as opposed to Max Mitchell. I'm pretty happy with that. As long as we're not breaking the bank and or depending on him to be the answer at left tackle, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, Bakhtiari to me is like, you don't sign him as your, solid option. Like, okay, we've fixed the offensive line. I don't think you go into any negotiation with him like that. But I mean, heck, there was an injured left tackle that was available just a few years ago that a lot of people were scared to death to sign. He's probably the best left tackle in the game right now in Trent Williams out in San Francisco. Like, everyone was deathly afraid to go after him. Sometimes you got to roll the dice.
Do you remember, though? Like, the reason we were afraid is because he was kind of, he was
mad at the doctors. It was like a medical thing that they thought they misdiagnosed.
Correct. And what did the Niners give for him? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
4th.
But what was the contract they gave him? That's more important to me than the draft pick, because you're not giving up a draft pick for Bakhtiari.
But if I remember correctly, that wasn't that first year. They waited a year. So like they let him play and then saw what he was going to give them. And correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. It's how I remember it.
I'll have his contract up in just a second.
Yeah, they saw him play for a year, and then they gave him the contract. So, I mean, dude, a 4th-round pick, and I don't give a shit what he get. I mean, a 4th-round pick, what are you getting for a 4th-round pick? At least 50% of the time you're getting dick burgers for 4th-round picks. You know what I mean?